Hello artists. For our project today, we're going to need a large square piece of paper and 3 colors of liquid tempera: white, turquoise or teal, and a dark blue. We'll also need a very large, thick paintbrush, and I'm going to use a couple of art folders to protect the table. I'm painting all the way to the edge, so I want to make sure that all of my area is covered and protected. Our thick painting paper for this project measures 12 inches by 12 inches. We will be painting in rings of color to look like the moon glowing in the nighttime sky. When we paint, we want to make sure that we are not pushing down too hard on the brush. We don't want to damage the brush. We can use a light touch when we paint. If your brush is being pressed down so much that it's almost laying flat on your paper, then you are pushing a little too hard. Remember to just use the tip of the brush bristles to create the best effect. For the first step in this project, I'm going to be using 3 different colors of liquid tempera paint. The first is white, and I'm going to use a dry brush. I don't need to have it wet, and I'm only dipping the brush in the white paint. I'm not scooping, and I want the white paint just on the lower half of my bristles. And there you can see I'm deciding where to put a round white circle for the moon. White is the brightest color that I'm using today, and I want to make sure that I have a nice, fully covered white circle on my paper. Now, it doesn't make sense right now to have white paint on white paper, but that's soon going to change. Now, what's fun about this project is that I don't need to clean my brush each time I change colors. I'm simply going to move on to the next lightest color and work my way from white to the turquoise color and finally to the dark blue. I'm not going to scoop paint. I'm not going to mix paint on the paper plate. I'm simply going to dip my paintbrush in the new color and paint a ring around the white paint that I just used. You can see that as I spin around and around, controlling my brush, not pressing down too much, that the white that was in the paint and the turquoise color have mixed, and I have a very light color. When I'm happy with that, I simply dip my brush in more turquoise paint, and I'm going to make a new ring around that. Each time I do, I'm blending a little bit, and the further away I get from the moon, the darker the color will be. I can go around and around, painting all the way past the edge and onto the folder. I want to make sure that all of my paper is covered. Again, I never scoop. I just simply paint in circles after I dip my brush in the color. When I'm happy with the amount of turquoise that I've used, I'm going to now dip my brush in the dark blue, and I'm going to continue this process. The first time I add dark blue, I'm going to go in a circular motion and blend the dark turquoise color and the dark blue together. Again, I keep working my way outward, away from the moon, until I fill the entire page. Once my paper is completely painted, I can go back with some of the colors and blend paint where there are harsh lines if you choose to do so. The more you blend, the softer the transition from one color to the next. See what you can create by blending wet paint into more wet paint. Before we move on to the next step, we must set aside our painting to completely dry. In the next video, I will show you how to draw the silhouettes of forest trees as if we are looking up through the branches into the night sky.